welcome to the channel. My name is Ian and this channel is all about music and art, and I'm about to go off to Edinburgh Festival Fringe to review lots of shows with my wife Jane. And what I noticed was that quite a few of the shows that we saw in the 2021 Edinburgh Festival Fringe are now being reshown again this year. So what I thought we would do is we would just re-edit the original review that we did and update them with the current information, which we'll put at the end of the review, so that you can get the latest information as to where and when each show is happening at this year's Edinburgh Festival Fringe. What we've seen here is Mustard by Eva O'Connor. Now this is via Summerhall. Now I have the press release for Mustard, and I'm just going to read a little bit. And it said, Fishamble, that's the theatre company, are delighted to bring Eva O'Connor's award-winning play Mustard to online audiences in Edinburgh this August. Winner of the Scotsman Fringe First Award 2019, Mustard is written and performed by Eva O'Connor and directed by Hildegard Ryan. When that's Eva, meets the man of her dreams, a professional cyclist, love hits her in the pubic bone like a train. But when it ends, she plummets into a black hole of heartbreak at the speed of a doped-up team on a Tour de France.
My name is Eva O'Connor and I'm the writer and performer of Mustard. Mustard is a one-person show about heartbreak, madness, recovery, and using condiments as a coping mechanism. It's essentially about a girl who is in a really intense relationship, and when that ends, her mental health is completely thrown up in the air, and she uses mustard as a way to cope, I suppose. She ends up moving back to rural Ireland with her mom, and it's about her journey to kind of finding herself with the help of mustard. I think Mustard is a very relatable show because it's kind of about completely falling apart and your mental health going to the dogs and all the strange and kind of shameful things we do to cope. In this case, the main character's coping mechanism is putting mustard all over her body. But I think it's actually quite relatable and it's quite funny. And yeah, ultimately, it's a really hopeful play.
What do you think?
Well, I took a while to get into it, I must confess. I was enjoying the language. I mean, it's a solo show, and in a way, like a lot of these shows, the story unfolds, and by the end, it was really, really absorbing, and her performance is fantastic.
Yeah, Eva's performance is absolutely exceptional.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to tell you the whole plot, but enough to say that, and I think this is actually on the image for it, that Eva covers herself in mustard.
Right. Okay.
I think we're okay to say that.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because she's emptying the pots at one point, and you think, is she or isn't she?
Yeah.
And she does. And then she does clean herself off, which is, I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like.
No, because she's not just literally stood on stage. She's talking to us the whole time.
Yeah.
She is doing things like she blows up a paddling pool.
Yep.
She rolls out some paper. She sets up a line which actually comes from round a waist, which is brilliant. And then she puts on that line for like dishcloths, really. And at that point I was wondering what the dishcloths were for. Anyway, so there's this whole theatrical element to not just standing there talking to us.
No, there are things actually going on.
Yeah.
Though, talking of, I mean, it sounds a bit boring to call them props. I mean, because they're part, part of the narrative, as it were. I don't know that what we discovered really what the white paper was for.
No, I don't think. Well, she walked along it when she was in the pool of mustard. She walked along it afterwards. She walked from one end where the pool was along to the. I don't know whether we are giving spoilers here, are we?
I don't know.
It's difficult to know, really.
I don't know.
Anyway, I saw her walk along that. She didn't walk outside of that line of where the paper was. She walked from one end to the other end.
But all the other times she stepped
over it.
Deliberately stepped over it. Yeah. So there was obviously a connection. Yeah. Okay. But I mean, it is an hour long, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, the whole hour there's this. She's telling the story, the dialogue, and there's some very clever lines. I mean, I'm afraid I'm not.
It's very poetic, I thought, in places.
There was some great.
It's well observed.
Yeah.
There is some absolutely fantastic lines just about life in general.
Just life.
I mean,
and can we say? I mean, it's about mental health.
Yeah, I think it is, and I mean,
and I think she describes her feelings, what actually sort of comes over her, and obviously there is a connection to mustard.
It's a compulsion, isn't it? There's a compulsion
and
there.
she sees yellow, but she describes other people's reactions to it. She describes, exactly. I know I'm repeating myself, but she describes how she feels when she's coping with something not very well, and this is what happens.
I mean, my question is this a type of self-harm in the sense of is Eva getting a release from this when she covers herself in mustard? It's hard. I mean,
it's hard to say. She does describe right at the beginning about a sensation of burning.
Yes.
So there is a suggestion that yes.
And in fact, I had to just look up now to see whether covering yourself in mustard is okay for your skin. And there is some doubt. There's somewhere it does say that if you've got small burns on your hands, you can put mustard on it. I mean, I didn't know whether it was real mustard or not. It has the consistency of mustard. I think.
What you mean? Actually, in the performance. Gosh.
And actually, I didn't know whether.
That's a good point.
I mean, yes, you could argue that she's got mustard on her skin for about 40 minutes in total, maybe 30 minutes of the play, and then she's starting to rub it off, and then she doesn't do that all at once. She talks to us as she's doing that with. So I don't know what the health, whether.
It never occurred to me.
It never occurred to you
whether it was real or not.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there was an assumption that it was real.
Yeah.
But it may not have been.
Yeah.
But anyway, the fact is that it it appears to have the same consistency.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
Like I say, our worry here is: are we giving?
I don't know. It's really difficult.
That's only one, and to be fair, that is only one element of it because it's a journey for her meeting this guy. And all the rest of it. I don't want to say any more about that because there is a complete journey that Eva goes on.
Yeah.
And she does describe London, and she describes rural Ireland where her mother is, and so there's more to her than just a lady spending an hour covering herself in mustard and cleaning herself off.
No.
Because it's so much more going on than that in this.
Far more going on.
I mean, I have to say, I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah.
I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, and it's not a comedy by any stretch of the imagination, but there are bits in it where I certainly laughed, and I think you did as well.
Yeah. There's some lovely lines.
There is.
I mean, it's written by Eva. Which is
a fantastic job, really.
Yeah.
I mean, she does
it's a beautiful piece of writing.
It is. It really is, and it really. I mean, for me, it really is, we've said this a million times, well, not a million times, but we've said this time and time again. This is must see. What's your stars?
I think I'm going to go for a strong 4.
I would go for 4 as well. Yeah.
Okay.
It is really good. Yeah. So Mustard is on at Summerhall Main Hall, and it's on right the way through the Fringe from the 3rd to the 28th. There's 2 preview shows, which is the 3rd and 4th, where it might be slightly cheaper. The 2-for-1 days are 8th and 9th, and there is going to be no show on the 15th and 22nd. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next video. Cheers now. Bye bye.